day 6. We are at day 6, guys. Can you believe it? It's here. Day 6 of 12 days of Christmas. Yeah, let's get down to all the way down to the business bits. So today we're going to be doing Eloise at Christmastime, and this is a movie that I haven't seen in a very long time, but I'm going to reach back in my memory bank to grab some pieces of what I can recall from this movie. I know for a fact that Eloise at Christmastime is a sort of sequel to Eloise at the Plaza. So if you haven't seen Eloise at the Plaza, I suggest you watch that prior to Eloise at Christmastime, because Eloise, she's kind of like a Junie B. Jones, Punky Brewster type character that does good for the people around her, but she starts out a certain way. Eloise at Christmastime is a sequel because Eloise at the Plaza kind of sets the foundation for some people that are in this movie, and they do the hello, I'm Eloise, I'm 6, and da 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 da. She does things, and there's callbacks, and specifically, the prince that is at the Plaza, he does not make an appearance, unfortunately. He was Asian, and that's so great. I love to see representation. Like, there are other princes in other places. I love to see black princes, black royalty, Asian royalty, Hispanic royalty. I love seeing it because there's more than just Queen Elizabeth I and Henry VIII. Like, there's so much more, and I'm so sick of seeing there are shows and movies that I will talk about, like the Tudors. I will make a video about the Tudors, and I will also make a video about Merlin, which doesn't really have anything to do with those kings and queens, but the Anglo-Saxon King Arthur is another white Anglo-Saxon, legitimately original Anglo king, before King Henry VIII and all that. But yeah, in the first one, basically rundown, she's a spoiled little brat, and she learns lessons, and she befriends a prince. I think she pronounced it the Prince of Christian, but I think it only sounds like Christian because she is a little girl. She's 6 or something, and I really don't know what prince he is of. I have to look it up later to know where this boy was from. But so basically, I'll talk about Eloise at the Plaza maybe in another video, maybe. But this is basically Eloise at Christmastime, a sequel. Like I said, watch Eloise at the Plaza prior to watching this video. You've been warned. So, Eloise at Christmastime, she goes around, and everyone, if you notice, just like in the beginning, in the first one, she does some rambunctious things, and she messes with people, and she lives with her nanny. Her mom is neglectful, but who knows? She could be working, you know what I'm saying? She doesn't have to be she hustle. I love the hustle. If any woman can hustle a man into paying for everything all your life, I know there's an equal exchange. Guys when people, let me get on this thing before I get into anything else. When people refer to simps, and guys try to shame other guys out of being nice because they think they'll be simping, I think that's the dumbest thing on earth. And I think that they have a pretty horrible home life if they can just switch and be horrible to women. They were never good people. And they've got a terrible father and a terrible mother. And so, I think the worst simp is a woman simp, because women actually legitimately die when they simp for guys. They murder suicides, straight up. They'll beat them bloody to a pulp, and they'll still run back. I consider that simping, and I had a discussion with someone and they were like, well, oh, that's kind of abusive and da 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 da. And people like it's a situation. I think it's interesting that when there's abuse, they love to make it equal until it's time to be equal. They want it to be equal when a woman does something horrible. When a guy does something, they like to say, well, oh, that's a different situation. That's a different comma, hyphen, like. But I don't know what Eloise's mom does. She could be a hustler, but she looks like she works and does stuff. She leaves. She couldn't possibly be on like all these vacations or whatever. I'm pretty sure, 100% sure, that she's a working woman and that's how she has her fortune, and she just looks good while doing it. She has expensive outfits. Like we'll see her it's cool because at the end we see her mom. We don't see ever like we just see her because it's like a kid's perspective, I guess. They kind of make her mom kind of hidden, but that's the whole thing at the story, the whole story of it all. It's cool that her mom comes at the end because it's like things are happening and whatnot. So she's going around and she's kind of upset because her mom's not going to be able to come for Christmas, but who knows? So she butts into people's business and she wants all these presents because she's rich. She is from a wealthy home, even though she lives in a plaza. Like, I mean, if I were rich, it'd be cool to have like a house that you could call your own, but if you lived at a plaza, it's like, I don't know if it would be less money because, I don't know, unless she owns it, but I really don't think she owns it because if Eloise's mom owned that building, I don't know, who knows. But I'm getting off the topic. Like, Eloise at Christmastime, I've said that like 30,000 times by now. It's basically kind of like a love story mixed in with, there's like 3 different things going on. There's Eloise's main storyline with her mom. Her mom not coming. There's her friend who's like I don't know what, a busboy? He does something. He wears the uniform and he doesn't clean. I mean, he cleans dishes. He doesn't cook, I don't think. But he's somebody. He's somebody in the plaza doing something. He wears the uniform. And he's like, talks about old love, and she comes and she's like, well, basically she's getting married. So he's like, okay, that's great, you know. And I bring up simping in a sense because it's like this guy, nothing really happens. He's good if he doesn't go with this girl who's got a husband who's a shady, like, grifter guy. And if he gets with her, that's fine. Like, when girls simp, there's no good of anything. There's no good that comes of it. Like, guys will, lose a couple dollars if they simp. There's no guy simps and gives away, like, all their hard-earned money, you know? Something, they get something out of it. The woman's rolling around in his bed, or she's cooking, even if she cooks on her knees every day, like, or cleans every day, that's still giving something back. I don't know why people think that women just are able to have their cake and eat it too when they can barely get crumbs. When they finally do get something, it's now time to be equal, and guys should also be privy to that something. When there have been so many years of not being able to get a lick of frosting. But I digress. This guy is her friend. And also, I've noticed, I think it's cool in the first one that Eloise had a child friend. Because in this one, there are no other children, really. It's just we're following around this little kid. There's nobody that's a foil to her. She's talking to adults. So it's kind of strange, but this guy who they play sword fights and stuff around the plaza with like candy canes or whatever. She tries to get these people together despite his long lost love, who they used to know each other as kids, is marrying, like I said, the dude that's evil. We eventually see he's evil, and it's like a kid's perspective thing that I would be like, okay, I understand. She thinks he's evil because she wants this to happen and it's not working out for her, but this dude really is evil. Like, he's doing all these things and he's trying to like steal her money and stuff. It's a whole strange thing, but why would he be talking about that? Like, these people who do stuff like that, like, see, simping, like, I hate the word simp, but if we're going to use that and we're going to actually use this thing, you can't simp for someone who you're in a relationship with, but if you are, like, there's a lot of instances where there's a guy who's like, I didn't say we was exclusive. Like, they say things like that so that they can have a bunch of, like, for instance, there's a show called Love After Lockup, and it's about citizens dating felons. There's been so many seasons that they all look like crackheads. So there's this veteran of the court system, Michael, who likes to juggle women. And he only likes to, I need to see my kids, when it's time to go over to his baby mama's house so that he can roll around in her bed. Now, I really don't know who the simper and the simpy is, but I know for a fact that the girl is getting nothing from this. She's not getting a father to her kids. She's not getting a loyal person in her life. He doesn't provide money for her. She gets nothing from Michael. I would call her a simp because she is not in a relationship with him. They are still married, which is what she clings on to whenever a woman comes in. Well, I'm still married to him. You may be rolling around in his bed, but I'm still married to him. Like, good job, simp. That's simping. And she's gaining nothing because the loss is more than anything she could ever get from him. She's got 2 children who do not have a father, and she keeps bringing guy through the house to, like, it's just not, it's not cool because she doesn't want him to be there, but then she's like, well, that's the father of my, it doesn't matter. Any guy could be a father. The only person that can make claim to it, like, that's why when it makes no sense for you to take your father's name because you come out of your mom. It doesn't matter. Any guy could have been the father. And not saying that that's like a thing, like, everyone's sleeping around, who knows. I am saying, at first glance, you do not, as a baby is a baby, even before, like, it grows up and you can see their face. You know that it came from the mom because she birthed it. The father could be anywhere. The father could be dead. It really does not matter. The father can be anyone. So when someone says, oh, that's the father of my kids, that does not matter. And it will never matter because the father does not birth the child. The mother does. And I think that people should take their mom's last name. But that's another video for another day. Back to Eloise at Christmastime. So this guy is trying to take her friend's money, basically, her guys, that dude that works at the PLAZA's old long lost lovers money, but they don't know this. This is later down the line that she learns this because she's like stalks him. She goes, gets her haircut so that she can listen in on his stuff because he's getting his haircut. And it's like this whole time he like talks about being devious. Like, if someone is doing this, they would not talk about it constantly, but whatever. So the last storyline is with this old woman who, Eloise has a dog that's like a pug and a turtle, and I think she's got a goldfish. But the turtle, it messes with this old woman's poodle, and she like clashes with this old woman, and she does some investigation into her life, and she learns that she's getting kicked out of the plaza because her family can't afford to house her there. And eventually, like, Eloise basically fixes everyone's problem. She's like 6 or 8 or however old she is. And this little girl is like fixing adult people's problems. I think that's insane. I think it's so cool. It's more like a superhero type thing, because she literally just like juggles everyone's life, all at the same time being disappointed that her mom can't show up for Christmas, which makes the ending all more satisfying, because she gets that. She gets, even though like she didn't ask for it in return, like there's growth. She's not always obnoxious, and like kids are going to be obnoxious and kids are going to be whatever because they don't know social cues, they don't know what to do. That's something that you learn. That's not something that we have in our DNA to do, except the specific things that we do, like we may cover our mouth to when we sneeze, and that's not because, oh, it's just polite. It's because it is polite, but if we do that, like if a kid does that, maybe it's because it's just something that it's like muscle memory. I don't know. I'm not a scientist, but that's just my hypothesis. So Eloise, like, does those three things. She's, like, dealing with that. And I can't remember who is the one who gives that old lady the money, because Eloise is freaking rich. And the moment she learned that she could help her, she probably should have put some money there, but whatever. She's just a kid. She doesn't know. She wouldn't know. But it's just like she knows that she can go to Toys R Us and buy 10 billion presents because she knows she's rich. But I don't know. Like I said, I don't remember. It's been such a long time. Eloise at the Plaza, I have not seen it, but I know basically the gist of it. And there were a few things that in the middle that y'all heard about, but it had really nothing to do with Eloise. But that's fine. That's what we do here. We talk about things, and then sometimes we talk about other things. But there's a lot more in the movie. It's another quick movie that I think is pretty short. It may be longer than I'm remembering, but I just remember it like quick flashes of things that happened, because I haven't seen it in a very long time. But it's a wholesome Christmas movie. There are lessons to be learned. There's so many lessons. And it's cool because it's not, Eloise is a girly girl, but she's like, she does things, like she does adventure things. Like you can be a girly girl and not be called a tomboy for wanting to do things that are like jump rope. I think tomboys put on too many girl things when it's just like, I think that's another misogynistic perspective on a woman's identity. I think you can be feminine, or you can rest in femininity without being, oh, you're tomboy. Because I do believe that some people may qualify Eloise as a tomboy, or may identify her as such, but I believe that she likes pink. There are things that are very like stereotypically feminine about her. So it's like, I think it's a cool story that I think both girls and boys would enjoy, but also the first one, I think, sets a bigger foundation for the story, because there are things that aren't explained because they're already explained in the first one. And Leon, like I told you, the boy from the Prince of Christian, that she says it's Christian. I have to look it up. I don't know where Christian is, if it's even a place. But she ends up able to, because I told you, like, this guy that's devious, he straight up captures Eloise and puts her in some place so that he can marry that girl, and because she finds out that he just wants the money. But it's like, who's gonna listen to a little kid? He could have literally just let her speak and they wouldn't have believed her. But because he incriminated himself by locking her in a closet in some, it looks like, but before I get into that, from Leon, she gets 2 walkie-talkie. She uses one and she has the other one still in the thing, because that's the gift she had under the tree. she opened it early and got one of them. And if it wasn't for that, she would have been left in there and her nanny would not have known where she was. That's insane. He could have killed that girl. But he does all this so that the wedding can go off without a hitch. Because for some reason he's having a wedding inside a plaza when he could have it somewhere else. And I don't know. They just needed Eloise to be able to have access to the wedding. So I guess that makes sense. And yeah, a lot happens in there that I'm not talking about. I don't want to spoil too much of it, and also I haven't watched it in a while, so I don't want to say the wrong thing, but everything that I've said is true, I know. And yeah, this one is really good. From what I can remember, it's really good. It's a movie that I watched when I was really younger. It's a movie that I liked. I think the next one's going to be The Nightmare Before Christmas. And I'm going to have a few choice words for Jack Skellington, about Jack Skellington, because he's gross. And Sally, since we've been talking about simps, she's one of the biggest simps in cinematic history. But in the end, I guess that there's no definite that they're together. We're supposed to believe that they're together, but who knows? Jack is stupid. He is dumb. He is dumb as dirt. But that's another story for another video. Hope y'all had enjoyed the fifth day. This one was kind of like monotone a little. I've been having allergy problems, but you know what? That's fine. Everything's cool. I stream on Twitch. Follow me. My stuff is below if you look in the description of this video. Can't wait to see y'all back for the next one. And if you want to see the previous ones I've done that are my favorites and one that's not, but I had to talk about it because it's just like bleh. You'll know it when you see it. Hope y'all have great, happy holidays. Any holiday you celebrate. Kwanzaa, Hanukkah, Yule. Yeah.